No, I could hear you.
You could hear me. Then why were you repeating, can you hear me? It seemed like you couldn't hear me.
I was
The
being
evidence
I was
points
I was
to the
being
contrary.
tricky. I was being tricky.
Tricky. What are you, a realtor or something?
Am I a realtor?
Ready? I'm going to give you the soundbite for this week's show. You ready for it?
Am I ready for it?
Yeah, hang tight, okay? 1, 2, 3. Darryl, what I'm seeing out there is insane. You guys have no idea. The market is changing like so fast. Everyone has to be so careful right now before they make any decisions.
How fast is it moving, TK?
That was good, right?
That was great.
I don't know.
I don't know
Listen,
what I
we
was
don't know
supposed to
anything.
say
We've
to
already
that.
established that on this show here, okay? This is not the place to get the most up-to-date information. Watch those 3 to 4 minute clips that people put out. They're much more well thought out. You and I
That's
don't
right.
know what we're talking about.
We don't have time to think.
We don't have time to think.
Who's got time to think?
Thinking.
Holy
Overrated.
Jesus, TK, what the
Well,
hell?
Let's start off quickly, Darryl.
What are we starting off with? What are we gonna do?
I'm just gonna ask nicely. In a very calm, monotone voice.
Already?
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we would
Already?
really appreciate that you did. Like the video, drop us a comment, listen to the whole show, and tune in every week.
Are you trying to bore them into doing it?
I told you it was going to be just calm. That wasn't exciting.
That's the calm before the storm.
I guess so. I don't know. What do you got going on? What's so special about Darryl's world today?
Nothing is special. I would imagine that most people would not wish this upon their worst enemy.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe that. Darryl finds solutions to every problem that's ever been put in front of him.
He does, but they become costly sometimes, and they become annoying sometimes. And TK, I don't think we're even talking about the same thing, buddy.
Maybe not.
Right.
You tell me.
So, I mean, you're not on Twitter, so you don't know totally what's going on with my goddamn floors here, TK. But if anybody out there's following me on Twitter on the Frankfurt report, then holy cow, you see the saga still continues.
About the floors.
I don't even know what day.
Are wrecked now. They're just getting
not wrecked. They look great right now. Like it needs a little bit of work still, but like it is like almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. I woke up this morning.
Buddy, I just need you to sand it one more time.
Just
all right, just do another little quick once over.
Just
and
one
then you'll
more.
Get your money.
That's right. I'm not paying yet. It's not right. Oh my God. I woke up this morning and I go in there and it's like, I think it's right. I think it's right. And then I went, looked at it from another angle and I was like, what would my wife think? And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. We're gonna have to do something else here.
Well, let's get into what people want to hear about, which is the real estate market.
Yeah, let's start all.
We can talk about why.
Absolutely.
Why would we start all over again?
Well, I mean, all we've done is ask for subs and complain.
I think the show is going great so far.
It's perfect.
Yeah, the stats came out for April.
Stats? Are we doing a stats show again?
We're not doing the stats show, but we're going to talk about the
stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they meaningful? They're
meaningful?
Anything?
Yeah, because what happens is, people focus on the wrong things, right? People focus on this year-over-year number.
Oh,
it's a big deal.
It's
a big deal for people because they don't want to pay attention 365 days a year or 364. They want to pay attention just one. Just one of those 365.
Everything last year was exactly the same. So we should compare things to last year, right? That makes sense to compare things to last.
But compared to March, when they compared to March was an incredible month of 2022. So we were down 14%. But now comparing to April, which things started to fall apart in April, we're only down 5% now, Darryl, overall.
Only down 5% from the beginning of the unravel.
Guess what May is going to say? When June, the first week of June comes, do you know what those headlines are going to say?
Up like 3 million%.
Up year over year.
3 billion percent.
Baby.
Right?
That's what's happening right
now. But what's going on
month
over month is going up, no?
Month, of course, but that's been climbing up for months now. But it's going to be the headline grabbers.
Sentiment.
Real estate prices are
Let's go.
Because there's still somebody out there pumping now saying real estate prices are down 5.2% year over year.
Well, so I put out a tweet because I saw that prices were down year over year. And I was like, hold on a sec. I thought you guys said prices were up. What the hell's going on? And obviously I knew what was going on, but TK,
you got the discussion going.
The sentiment, if people's sentiment is based on year over year numbers and month over month numbers, now we're starting to talk here, right? Like, I mean, it's hard to ignore both of those simultaneously going up with what we've been through. But I mean, everybody will take a step back like you did at the onset, rationalize why it is. I mean, it was so bad or so great or whatever. What was May like last year? May was a disaster, probably.
It was down.
Right?
It was like, shoo. That was like the drop. The biggest drop was probably in May, month over month last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was that? Is that a fact?
May, things just fell apart. Yeah.
So the steepest dip in Canadian prices was last May.
You know what? Like, don't hold me on that. That's like a
don't
anecdotal.
Hold you on that. Everything's
that's like
gonna be based on
that's what I
today.
remember.
Okay.
I don't have that in front of me, but I'm about 90% sure.
90% sure. Yeah. I mean, that's okay. 90% leaves a little
good,
room
right?
to
you can
be
see
wrong,
that
I
wasn't just talking like nonsense. That's
so 90%. Okay. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
What's interesting?
Well,
like, you mean in June, it'll be interesting to hear what the May numbers will be. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it's interesting how you can manipulate the story based on the numbers and what your recollection could have, might have been of the previous, right? Like, look what you just did.
Let me give you an
there,
example.
TK.
Let me give you an
Look
example. Okay. First, here is the bearish report.
Right.
Ready?
Based on the same data, right?
Okay. April 2023 numbers are in, and sales are down year over year, as well as prices down 5.2%. Right now, we're seeing a lot of people not have the same enthusiasm about buying houses as they did a year ago, and the market is going down.
Fuck.
Ready?
What are we gonna do now?
Ready?
Fuck.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
This is the bullish.
I like this one. I'm ready.
Prices month over month have climbed up yet again. We've almost caught up back to last year's numbers. Listings are down. Sales are keeping pace with what they were last year, only slightly lower, but listings are down 40%. And therefore, this only leads to prices going up from here.
Yeah.
Right? This is it. I should be
who wins?
writing the
but who wins right now? Because
nobody knows. Anybody who thinks they know is damn right wrong. That's all I can tell you.
Damn right wrong. Here's a t-shirt.
Right. Listen, I'm telling you that I have no idea what 6 months the market will look like, because what are the banks going to do? What is the government going to do? Right now, we know that there is a lot of listings that could be coming on the market because people cannot afford their homes, that people are under pressure. It's insane that the payments that they're paying now compared to what it was a year ago, and so many different factors are just, it's unaffordable, and their incomes can't support it. And that if they don't get assistance, if their income doesn't increase, if the banks don't give them some sort of relief, they will be forced to sell. 100%. That is what is going to happen.
And rents went up 14% from last year on top of all that craziness.
But the
where do you move to?
Are playing the game right now, and they are making sure that everyone gets to stay in their home, that they get to wait around long enough to find out if their job is going to change, if the interest rates will go back down, because the big 5 banks don't know what the Bank of Canada is going to do, just like all of us. And so then they're all waiting around right now saying, hey, if we can push this just a little bit longer, maybe it'll be enough for people's values to go up, for the people who bought recently, or for the people who had to borrow a lot of money because they're in second, third mortgage, line of credits, whatever. And then they'll have an option to cash out. Because this week we're
on the same page for once, TK.
What day is it? Today's Friday. So Wednesday night we had 3 offer nights. 20 offers, 300,000 over asking. 12 offers, 200,000 over asking. 2 offers, 100,000 over asking.
Your listing?
Mine was the third one, but my partners on the other 2. Our team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
I wouldn't have organized 3 offer nights on the same night.
No, but did you price them? Were they priced
all of them
properly,
were priced
crazy low?
All of them were priced attractively.
Attractively, well dressed. What does this mean, attractively?
Okay,
is that
one of them
low?
for sure, because I studied it. We all had a mock CMA. So this is all the agents on our team. 40 agents sat around and said, what do we think this property's worth in Pickering? So we all did up our little things, and we had numbers between 1.1 and 1.4. I don't know. But most people agreed at the end that the price of the home was close to 1.3. Okay.
And
based
somebody
on
paid
comps.
1.4.
So we said, all right, where do we price it at? And we came up with a decision that pricing it at 1.2 would be the right thing. And the agent decided to take that advice and price it at 1.2 after dozens of showings
For a valuation
20
of
offers,
1.3.
and yes, thinking
And sold for
let's
how
be a little
much?
bit more attractive, 1.5.
The price is 1.3, agreed on 1.2, went for 1.5.
Went for 1.5. Okay.
What is it compared to peak, TK?
Peak. You know what? I would say peak prices, it's
Are they back?
below
peak
prices.
price.
Yeah.
Below.
Peak
How
prices.
far below?
I would say that house peak prices would have been 1.6-ish.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's what, down 7% or something like that?
Peak was crazy. Yeah, whatever that is.
So, but what does that mean? We're down 7, 8, 6% from peak? 10?
Yeah. I mean, again, every area is different. There are areas where peak pricing. Look, I'm seeing.
Is this nice areas? What is this? Good house,
this is a nice
small house,
Pickering.
shit house?
This is a nice part of Pickering. Very nice detached 2-story 4-bedroom house. 20-something.
Pickering? Is that what you just said?
Pickering's a great area.
Pickering. 1.6 in Pickering.
1.5.
300 over asking.
Yeah.
1.6.5. What?
No, 1.5.
What?
1.6 was peak pricing.
Right. That's crazy. We're back to 1.5 in Pickering. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Okay. So what I'm trying to get at, which I don't even know what I'm trying to get at.
What are you trying to
try to just
get at?
sum this up?
What are we
really
talking
quickly.
about right now?
Okay. That people out there right now are buying houses again
like
in
crazy,
numbers, and that there's a huge demand. And what we're seeing mostly is the lower price points. So the under $1 million is just crazy, which is mostly in Durham region. That's obviously what it is. Then you've got obviously in the Vaughan areas, the areas where people are like high value type of properties where a lot of people want to be. So the 1.5s to the, 1.2s to the 2 millions, also really crazy.
Really
crazy.
Who? How?
Crazy. A lot of offers and stuff like that. I got a couple places in Vaughan coming up, and it's
cash
like
buyers. Where are they from?
People are moving. They want to be in a good house. They want to be near good schools. Right now is the time to move for them to be able to get into the school year in September.
So these are like 30s, 40s moving up to 1.5 to 2 million with 6% mortgages, 5% mortgages.
They're not even blinking.
Not even blinking.
They're not even blinking.
What kind of field of work? What do they do for a living, TK?
You know what? They're selling their home because it's a move up home. So they're going to be getting good money for their home.
10 years
ago. They've realized that the confidence is back. So when I go to sell my home, I know I'm going to do really well. So I don't mind paying too much over there, because if I get X for my home, it means my down payment's going to be a lot bigger, which means that I don't have to take on as much mortgage. And everybody thinks that these mortgage rates aren't staying high for long.
Not staying high for long. What's bringing them down?
Everybody's saying that, why they think that it's going to come down, Darryl?
Hold on, though. You were touching on a good point before first.
Okay, well, let me just finish this one first.
Yeah.
And I'll go back.
Yeah. Okay.
You know why everyone thinks rates are going to go down? Because the Bank of Canada's saying that they're going to stay high.
This is the logic.
This is it, right? The Bank of Canada is saying they're staying high. They're trying to control us. They don't want us to spend our money. They're trying to tell us to cool it. We know they're going to have to change direction, and that's why they're deciding to buy now, Darryl, because they feel rates are going to stay lower. But the point that I was making earlier, which again, I totally forget what it was, sorry, was that people are buying houses right now because they're confident that they're going to get more money for their home.
But you were also making the point, which ties into that I was also thinking, I'm shocked that you came up with the same thing, but they're like, they want the prices to go up because it fucking blows a lot of problems out of the water. Refinances, it helps, right?
Yeah. That like was many points ago.
Renew, but I know, but like the fact that you thought that they might be thinking of that, I'm pleasantly
come a long
surprised.
way since we started this show.
Come a long way, baby.
I've come a long way.
But I was thinking the same thing, that like this has to be part of the solution. But like, listen, it seems like from Tiff Macklem's statements that it's like, look, this guy's a general and he's at war with inflation and he's willing to, sacrifice a few people. There will be casualties in this war, TK, but we're going to help you out. We're going to inflate prices. We're dropping money again from the sky.
We have a war right now between who? Bank of Canada and?
I don't have a fucking clue what's going on. Who?
The banks.
The people that bought in the last couple of years.
The banks.
Bank of Canada and the banks, because the banks are going down like a ton of bricks right now.
The banks
all over the world.
If right, exactly. The banks will suffer if these rates remain high for too long. And so the banks are saying, okay, let's see what kind of rules we can use here to be able to navigate this, because we don't control the overnight rate. The Fed just raised their rates by 0.25% in the States, their key interest rate.
So they're just going to constantly compensate.
They're going to say, let's, how do we pump this market up?
I got to find the video. The minute rates went up, I started saying 50-year amortizations. Do you remember that? I was like, they have to extend amortizations. People are tapped out already. How do you?
Yeah.
So hold on. You're saying you got like locally grown Ontarians buying houses from 1.5 to 2 million as step-up homes.
Yeah.
Because the house they bought in the last decade has catapulted in value, and their confidence in borrowing more for something bigger, and the fact that they think they can sell their house again for the number they need to make this work, that environment is back?
Yes.
Just with a straight face like that? Yes. We're back, baby. And you're
that's it.
Calm as
and so it's what people are doing, and it's the decisions they're making, and they're I'm dealing with them. So they're actually looking at everything and they're saying, you know, I really wanted to buy for 1.2, you know, like that's really what I thought. TK, what's my house worth now? I'm like, well, when we first sat down, you know, we were looking at the last sale on your street and it was 900,000. Oh, well, what's the most recent sale? $1,050,000. So do you think because we have those renovations, we might be able to get 1.1? It's possible, but maybe we should use
we just have that discussion. Didn't I just call you and have like the same?
I'm having these all the time. So yeah, but this is an example, right? Yeah. So let's use $1,050,000 just to be sure and conservative. So then that way, when we make our decision, if we get more after we sell, then it's money in your pocket, right? Example.
What price are you using?
You know how I was going to spend 1.2? Well, now you know what? Why don't we go to 135?
Let's go, baby.
Let's bid it up, because they have that ability, because nobody cares what price they pay when you're buying from one house to another. Nobody cares. You're buying and selling in the same market. They care about their monthly payment. That's the only thing they're thinking about.
And Bank of Mom and Dad never got to close shop. They actually had to open. If anything, they've got to kind of maybe.
They're working 24 hours a day right now.
Yeah, they're
Bank of Mom and Dad. Yeah,
making all of it happen.
This is what's releasing all this extra.
Because they have confidence now too, right?
But I guess the listings are. Look at the listing numbers. Check out the April report.
Down, like crashed, right?
It's like.
Which April report?
In a very low inventory.
Your or the Treb one?
The number of new listings.
No, which report are you referring to, TK?
Toronto Real Estate Board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Canadian real estate. It's across the board. This applies to everybody across Canada. Is listings are down. So why are listings down? Give me your theory.
Why are listings down? Listings are down because people don't know where the hell they're going to go if they sell right now, because everything's going up again. And they think they can get more soon.
Okay. Both possible scenarios. The biggest one is
what's the right answer though, TK?
No, they're both those are right for certain people, but the bigger answer is this.
The better answer.
Not the better answer. The more common one that I'm hearing more often or not.
Common.
Is sellers saying, you know what? I heard the market's not doing very well.
What the fuck?
I don't think it's a good time to sell.
What are they watching? What are they listening to?
Darryl, they're not on Twitter. They're not.
So where'd they hear it?
They're not one of the 16 people who watch our show. So they're sitting at home.
Those 16 people have
worried
reach,
about making their payments. They're worried about their job. They're worried about the birth of their niece. They're worried. Those are the things that are on their mind. And they pay attention one of 365 days. And they say, well, how's the market? Oh, it's good, bad, okay. And the real estate topics right now.
Better get out now.
It takes months for this type of news to come out. And so when the news comes out, guess what happens?
TK, you're blowing my mind here.
Listings come out at that point, because now everyone says, oh, it's a good time to sell.
So now all the normal people are going to start talking about how bad the market is,
normal
and they're all going to list.
Talking about
this is the theory?
How great the market is.
You just said that they said it was bad.
Yes, because they're getting news from 3 months ago, because that's the timeline that they're on.
And then they're going to list now.
No, right now they're not listing.
Oh, because it's bad. Oh,
It's
I
still bad.
see.
So when I go to
Oh,
meet with a seller for the first time,
sorry.
I ask them, what do you think about the market? And there's not one of them that says to me right now that the market is fantastic. It's almost back to where it was. Listings are down. Like they might have some ideas and they say, I heard things are getting better, whatever, but every single one of them leans towards the, things aren't the way they used to be. Okay. And that's important to understand because the psychology between why listings would come up is not, unfortunately, things are good. It's really good right now. Because everyone should have been selling February 2022. Right. But because the market was going up, everyone was like what you were saying, they were afraid of, right? And we knew that there was going to be a change. Everyone should have been listing at that point, but we had no listings at that time.
But it happened till in May.
Exactly. Record number of listings is when the market's down because now it's too late. Right. So as the market goes up, everyone says, oh, not a good time. All right. I heard the market's doing great. I'm going to think about selling. 3 months later, finally, I got my house on the market. Oh, now everybody else is selling. Market flattens out.
So, but listings are so low that like you'd really need a flood of inventory just to get to like a low level of inventory. You'd need a typhoon to get to like a historically normal low probably, right? And you'd need God, like how do you even get to a point where you're back into like, weren't we in like seller territory or buyer territory for a little while there? Like for a day? What didn't it?
I think there's like, I think there's
Wasn't there like 2 weeks
summer
where it was like,
summer.
oh,
you had your chance. So actually, I just put out my newsletter, and I listed.
How do you sign up for that newsletter?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Right now, you got to just maybe reach out
Buy
to
a
me
house?
directly, and I'll put you on the list. But maybe I'll set up a link as a more official way to.
You should do that. It's a great newsletter.
But the winners and losers of today, right?
The winners
the
and
big
losers.
winners, the big winners, the big winners, the people who timed the market, or
by accident,
put in exactly. I don't know how to time it. Their timing was impeccable.
Their timing was lucky.
People who bought in the last 6 months when everyone was telling them don't buy it, the market's down, it's horrible. I can't believe you're thinking about buying with interest rates higher right now. Are you an idiot? Because prices are up 11% year to date already. Okay, annualize that. Okay, that's a huge number, right? 30%, 33% at the end of the year at that rate, right? The second winners would be the sellers who bought and are now selling. So they withstood the pressures of the public and their friends and family, and they said, no, it's a good time to move. I need to move. And maybe January, February, March, they bought something. They got it for a reasonable deal. Maybe they had to compete. And now they're like, well, it's time for me to sell. And those people in Pickering were one of them. They actually bought an off-market property. Okay, that the deal that one of our agents had that was a sensitive situation, couldn't go to market, and so we had that in the listing inventory. And this agent on our team said, hey, I got a perfect buyer. They bought that property, great price, great property, great everything, and they got to then list their property and sell for $200,000 more than they expected.
What a beautiful thing,
right? So that's that swing in equity that everyone tries to do that nobody does intentionally or perfectly, but those will be the people right now. Because yeah, prices might go up a little bit more here and there, but you're gonna have to pay a lot to get a house right now. So no one will really get that boost again, in my opinion.
So even if they would like give another 25 basis point hike or 50 basis point hike, like you don't even think that'll do a damn thing right now.
People are gonna laugh.
People are gonna fucking laugh. What the hell's going on? This is absolutely insane. I can't even believe this. They love real estate. So okay, so let's
stop pumping the market, Darryl.
I'm trying. Like, but like, I mean, it's going on its own. So let's transition to let's talk about State View again, because I think that this whole thing can actually help them out of their situation right now too. Now, if you don't know what's going on with the State View Homes thing right now,
that's still going on.
It's really going on, and it's getting worse, I think, before it gets better. But they've basically made a deal, and they've decided to put some of the sites into receivership. Now, I was lucky enough to get the list before it went into receivership, but I mean, I don't know if they're making the best effort to liquidate quickly based on the prices for what they've put out there. But nonetheless, I mean, they do have valuable assets, right? And they do have a bunch of purchasers, and now they're in receivership.
Yeah.
But when the market's, if sentiment is back and the market is going up and people think that it will continue, then I imagine those will get absorbed and back into the market, or those people, the buyers, will be saved relatively quickly by somebody.
Yeah.
But if the market was still going down,
receivership's an interesting process. And, the lenders obviously want to get their money back, right? That's always the case. And so the lenders have to, have their rights as far as how much money is owed to them.
Can we take a one step back even before you get into that? Because
Sure.
the lenders, I had a conversation with my partner this morning. Like, the lenders are powerhouses. Like, there's two.
KingSett,
Well, especially KingSett. Door,
Yeah.
I don't know. Door's a small company. They're smart though. I know those guys. And KingSett, I mean, they're as good as they come. And
they're as big as they come. Yeah.
like, the due diligence that those guys would do before giving you, I imagine, any amount of money, but like it's not like they're not looking at your financial statements and your net worth statements or whoever's guaranteeing. Like, it's not like they didn't. So what I'm getting at, TK, is that it wasn't just the banks that they must have been showing interesting documentation to.
I don't believe that. I think that
what are you talking about? How
leverage themselves?
No, God.
I think at the time when they got money from
KingSett's not giving you money when you
that's
have
what I'm agreeing with you on.
Balance sheet.
No way that they pulled the wool over KingSett's eyes to get that money. At the time, it made sense to lend them that money.
Or the documents made it make sense that they saw.
That's false allegations.
It's not an allegation. It's a potential situation. I'm saying that in this business, these guys don't just hand out money to anyone.
Agreed.
And yes, maybe it's wrong, and I'm not making an allegation, but it makes fucking sense that KingSett does some due diligence before they give out millions of dollars.
Big time.
I've tried to get money from them, and it's not easy. Okay, it ain't easy. It doesn't matter who you are, right? But I mean, these guys haven't been around for a long time, and somebody must have looked at something that said, yeah, it makes sense to give these guys money. And not only these guys, like, lots of people did that. Right. So I think it is deeper than a check kidding scheme. I think it is a whole bloody fraud, to be honest with you. And I mean, where I'm leading with this, and then you can go back to your point, is like, how many situations is the market going up again going to mask for longer that maybe needed to, like, we need this cleansing of the market, don't we? We need these bad actors out that are hanging on by a string and just waiting to sell another deal, right? Like, you even sent me the other day, like, an email about the company that their building collapsed and they're selling another property right now, right?
With a 5-year closing on freeholds.
Okay, so like what? So although for some people this is wonderful news and it helps considerably for some sellers and buyers, it takes pressure off of some renewals, but it's masking the overlying issue. I mean, some of the people that are in trouble right now or about to be in trouble are probably should be, right? Like, they're over leveraged. They're like, right. Like, they're like, they've made some bad decisions potentially, or things have changed since they made those questionable decisions, or things have just changed. I mean, it's a fucking different planet right now all over the place. So like, if things start to roar again for a while, even if it's a dead cat bounce or a bull trap or whatever you want to call it, and we don't think rates are going down again anytime soon, and they're not going up, like, what the hell is going to explode next time they fuck around with the interest rates?
I think that they have already raised interest rates more than they ever had in 40 years in a short time period. And I think if there is any other hikes, they'll be slow and gradual, and that there's going to be plenty of time for the big 5 banks to pump the market to be able to get out as many people who are in trouble as possible. So on the power of sales side, this is
those are down
an
considerably.
instrument that they're using in order to be able to sell the property, because the person who owns the property has title, and that the lender obviously needs to get paid. There's insurance, if there's CMHC insured, right? Or another mortgage insurance provider, but the banks also have sort of like a reserve for them to be able to manage their losses, right? So at the end of the day, that property doesn't make sense for the banks to hold on to. They put it up for sale, they make sure they get the best price possible, and they move on. But receivership's a little bit different, right? Because it's a corporation. There's lenders involved. There's people who are involved who are, maybe more seasoned. They understand things a little bit. They might be willing to finish the project. They might be willing to, continue building. They might be willing to wait to sell it. There's a lot of little things there. So there's a lot more control, and it can come out like perfectly, or it could come out with absolutely nothing, right? You don't really know. So in that situation with Stateview is, they could pull together and it'll be just a controlled sale where the receiver is now the person who's the vendor, and they're the ones acting on behalf of the lender and controlling the property. Their interests are with the lender, not with the borrower. And they're going to make sure that they do everything they can to be able to get the lender back their money. So you never really know. So you're saying that the prices you saw weren't
well, they weren't
fantastic?
like fire sale prices.
No,
There
they
was
won't be.
nothing that jumped out at you. But
They
I mean,
won't be.
maybe they'll turn into.
No, they're going to see what the market does, and they're going to do everything they can to protect their investment.
So, but what's crazy is because of how the law works and how we layer corporations on top of corporations and keep things separate from each other at the corporate level, what we will probably see is, while these sites are in receivership, guess who's going to launch a site soon, right? Guaranteed, because they can. It's not like the whole thing is going in receivership. They're putting 6 of the properties in receivership. They're completing other projects, and I'm sure they must have something that they were planning on launching soon, or doing one of these reservation deals.
Well,
soon.
Yeah, when I met with them, they were saying that they had just acquired more land, right? So yeah, they could be
For
working
sure
on
they
stuff.
did, right?
But,
with their solid balance sheet.
But the other part to that, and you mentioned this already, is
Am I gonna get killed
most
for
of the
this?
time in these type of loans, there's personal guarantees. So
somebody's given a guarantee.
The lenders on to whoever the CEO, CFOs, whoever's got the best, who's got the most property and assets to be able to go after.
And then they pin it on this guy. They pin it on the CFO guy, and he seems to be taking the blame. I mean, I wonder what he's getting for taking the blame, but come on. Like, come on. TK, hey, guess what? Look at your bank statement today. Oh, you didn't notice 37 mil? What about like 4 mil? You think you'd notice 4 mil?
I bet you that money was used for
nice house, bro.
I bet you it's gone. Like, you know what I mean?
I bet you it's not in their name anymore.
I bet you it's like, it's not like when people go through those things, in my experience, these are not situations where people are just like stealing money from like successful corporations that are doing really well. It's just they're spending more money than they have. And so there needs to be some sort of relief measures, but it's going to interest payments, rental payments on their office. These guys have this crazy office.
It's down like the street from my partners.
It's so nice. Like, it's like you go in there and they're like, we got a ballroom and a party room, and you can bring your guests. I'm like, this is top notch. This is
necessary. Yeah.
Somebody's paying those bills, and they were like renovating it. So I imagine that they've spent the money, that somebody spent the money, and that unfortunately it's no longer recoverable. But hey, you move on, right? So let's stop talking about them. Let's talk about just in general. So actually there's a lot of activity, right? So I sold that property in Pickering. Developers are buying. I got another guy who I was talking to who's got a property in York region where, you got developers buying right now.
Mm-hmm. You definitely have developers buying.
They're buying. Right, they're looking at sites everywhere.
But, yeah. You either, like I've been saying, like you need a ton of cash, or you need to figure out a different way of financing.
Nobody's paying cash.
It's all terms.
It's all VTBs right now. Yeah.
It's all terms.
Doesn't make any sense for the seller to not take a VTB, because the buyer's going to give you so much more money for that luxury, right?
100%.
They're going to say, like, look, you're going to
not only do you get more, but you get like you get a bump too. Like you get the more, plus you get the interest, right?
Yeah. Capital gains deferrals, and then the timelines on all these are all pretty reasonable. I'd say that they'd be between 5 and 10 years. That would be something that I would look at depending on the type of land it is.
Wow. You're lucky if you get 2 years from people. I mean, it depends on the person, I suppose you're dealing with.
It depends on how much of a premium you're willing to give them, Daryl.
That too. But I
So
mean,
if you've got a property that's worth 2
who
million,
the
and you
hell's
pay 'em
willing to give that big a premium?
okay, people are. So if you've got a property that's worth 2 million on the market, but you're willing
I
to
guess
pay them
for
3
10
million in
years.
assembly, you're
Yeah.
going to maybe get 2 years, because it's like, okay, sure, I get an extra $1 million. I want to see that one day. But if you've got a property that right now could sell for maybe $6 million because it's a farm and there's a couple of houses on it and whatever,
Sure.
but they're giving you 20 because they're like, hey, you know what? This is what we're going to do with this. You get it in 10 years.
Who the hell wants to wait that long? Fuck. Who's so patient? You got to be so patient.
For like as a developer?
Plan. For anything, 10 years. Yeah, as a
I think
developer,
the best guys are the most patient guys.
they're so patient. Like, how can you fucking, like, imagine 7, 8 years from beginning to end? Some of these projects, they're like 20 something years. There's a project, Tribute Homes, like at what is it, Bathurst and Elgin Mills? Like, they've been building it for the last 30 years. Maybe it's finished now, but like, just these gigantic projects that take forever, that make a lot of bloody money, like ridiculous sums of money. What else is going on? So we got, like, they're trying to kill the job market, but it seems like jobs all over the planet are up. I mean, US jobs are up, here jobs are up. My daughter got a job. I don't know. Did we talk about that?
No.
Bailey got a job at a brokerage.
Sweet.
And yeah, pretty cool, I think. She walked in there.
Just like
yeah, she wants
working at the desk.
She wants to move out for, test renting and moving out with her girlfriend for a little bit. So they're gonna like try and find an apartment, but they need jobs to afford it. So
awesome.
Although it would probably be better for her to start her career as a realtor and try and sell a house, they don't have the luxury of time that's associated with
right away
being possible.
Have money coming in right away.
Yeah. So she found a place right around the corner. She walked in there. They gave her a job on the spot. She didn't accept it on the spot, but
market's hot, baby. We need administrators.
No, but
come on in.
People need. And I said, Bailey, I know a lot of people, but like, go get a job, go get some experience, and then you'll be able to pick anywhere you want to work, because everybody's hiring realtors. Realtors the easiest job to get once you have your license, right? You can pick a brokerage. Oh my God,
I just got hired by the XYZ brokerage.
No, but it's
Daryl,
cool.
They gave me a position. I start tomorrow.
Right? XYZ, and
I only got to pay him $300 a month.
Yeah. 1% do nothing. But so listen, it's not, I don't know if it's a good brokerage. I don't know if it's a good brand.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't
She's
matter.
Learn the lingo.
She's going to learn all kinds of stuff. She will learn it not making mistakes in my business, which is cool. She'll learn how other people do things, and she'll like gain some experience. So when she goes to the next place, she can say
she's going to be your assembly master, and that she is the one who puts together all the deals, and she's knocking on doors, and she's buddy. She's such a team.
When
dream about that.
When she was little.
Yeah.
Listen, we all know I think a little differently than the average bear. And so from birth, she's been incentivized or brainwashed, or however you want to put it. But like, I've been explaining to her that school, depending on what you do, may not be necessary after high school, but it's pretty important to make money on this planet. So if you like real estate, you can like be the princess of real estate. And so growing up, she'd walk around always like, Daddy, I'm going to be the princess of real estate, with her wand, and her little thing on. And so she ended up growing up and actually being into the idea of being a realtor. And then she went, got her license, and now she went out and just got a job.
I think that's powerful.
I think it's
my little sister is looking to get into med school, and like she's been talking about wanting to be a doctor her whole life too, since she was a little kid. And I think that that's something that is like, if you
got to go to school for.
Sure, but whatever it is, if you put your ideas as the parent, if you let your kids choose between being a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, you can have them really start to engage with that. And I think over time, they start, because what happens is you start growing up and then you start looking, you say, okay, am I on the path to be a real estate princess? Am I on the path to be real estate? Okay. Yep. I'm still am. Yep. Okay. I'm learning about the market. Oh, I'm going out with my parents when they're buying a house, and, I'm going to find out about, what the process is like. All right. I'm watching the news, and okay, I'm going to school. When do I get my course? 18 years old, Humber College. All right. I'm still on track. And you maintain that course. Like if I wanted to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, there was a point in time where I was probably about 15 years old, where I would have looked around and said, there's no sign of me going to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer anywhere near me,
Might
And
need
so
a doctor
about what
or a lawyer or an engineer.
or an engineer. But it looks like
Get out of this
that being a
mess.
real estate agent would be probably a really good choice for me right now. And I shifted when I was about like 18, like it was the way it was. So
yeah, but listen, real estate is a fucking virus. It's a sickness. So you catch it. You catch it at some point in your life. You catch the bug. You don't know how it's going to happen, and you don't know where it's going to come from. But like, she caught the bug. Like, I don't know how it happened. I mean, you can give kids impressions and they don't like stick, right? Like, I've been trying to get my son to code forever, but he's just not having it at all.
Coding camp, coding class, coding books.
But he was smarter than me. He would have wasted all his time coding, because now you just tell the computer what to fucking code and it codes it for you. And if it makes a mistake, you go, hey, you made a mistake, do it again. And it figures it out. It's absolutely insane. Insane. So anyways, there's lots of jobs out there, which means interest rates are not having the impact that they're supposed to have, but people are still buying, which means interest rates really aren't having the impact that they're supposed to have. And you're talking about like the good times are back again, which means like they're doing what are the interest rates doing? Meanwhile, they're telling us
definitely
inflation is coming down. How is that happening? Where's the inflation coming down? What's inflation coming down?
Interesting to see the next month's inflation report, right?
What happens when that goes up?
Moving, but I noticed that.
Let's take out the houses. Let's take out the cars. Right? Let's take out everything that accumulates.
Yeah. Well, these are the issues: is who has to pay when inflation becomes an issue? What happened with the federal government? The federal government workers strike. Did they come to an agreement on that yet?
I heard they did. Temporary agreement. I don't know what the hell a temporary agreement is, but have you tried calling the CRA in the last week?
No, but I actually need to call them.
Everybody needs to call them.
I need to register, and they want me to get the number. So I don't know how I do that.
I don't think they want to so badly.
Okay, so here you go. This is important. Actually, this is freaking news, Darryl. How come you didn't have this in your little Rolodex there?
How do you know what I have here? We didn't talk about anything.
Government workers get 12.6% wage hike. Right?
Those fuckers. Are you serious?
Over 4 years.
3% a year?
Look at that headline.
Is it compounded?
3% per year. Okay, which is more than the Bank of Canada's 2% inflation.
That's more than 12%. If
well below the CPI inflation of recent years, which hit an 8% high in June 2022 and now stands just over 4%.
So those fuckers get to keep their paychecks, work from home, do nothing, accumulate like another 25% of them, the fucking virus, and then they get a 12.5% increase in their pay after fucking up the whole market and the whole society again for the last few weeks.
Yes.
Again, one of those yeses. I knew you were going to do that, you bastard. This is not right, TK. This is not right. This is a misuse of public funds if I've ever heard one. Because
regardless, the government doesn't want to have to pay out that amount of money. So what an incentive to say, listen, guys, just
maybe go back to work, please.
Asked for a raise. I mean, what about those guys? I mean, what if the pensioners are going to want to listen? Let's just change the way that we calculate inflation, so we'll just tell everybody things aren't getting more expensive. We'll just tell everybody everything's the same price as before. We'll put out a chart.
Your chicken has not gone up in price.
We'll do a press conference. We'll make the chickens half the size.
The eggs have gotten
this is
bigger.
This is what it is. These are the things that the government, the conversations that they must be having.
Why are my yolks orange?
Right?
Are these eggs? Are these still eggs? These are eggless eggs, aren't they?
They need to make everyone feel better.
Is this really a hamburger?
How do you make people feel better?
How do you make people feel better? Well, you could get that real estate market going again.
That real estate, that makes people feel better. Let's make them feel better. Let's pump it up a little bit. Banks, feel free to not take anybody's houses away from them. Okay, what else you got, Darryl? Sorry.
What else do I got? That is a great question. We've hit a lot of stuff. So do you feel like real estate has changed since like before the pandemic to now? Like, is real estate different, or is it just like it's right back to where it was again? Like no difference. Have we learned any lessons? Have we, are we using any of that technology we started using before, or did that slip back into the abyss? Like,
I think a lot's changed. I don't think anybody can say that a lot hasn't changed. The way they build buildings has changed from work from home spaces. The way people look at their homes has changed because now they're going to be looking at work from home spaces, or the fear of like a future pandemic, the location on where they can afford to live, right? There's been a lot. I think there's been a lot that this whole inflation and interest rate hike cycle has now given people a new found appreciation for maybe the smaller things in life, where they're saying, you know what, I'm okay just to be able to stay here because I don't have a mortgage, or I have a small mortgage and I can afford this. And even though
thank God
I
I'm not
always used to
dealing with
dream of
that
having a
shit.
big house, but imagine if I was in this situation in a much bigger house, right? So I think there's a lot of things that have changed, definitely. But I
Well, how
don't
about
think that,
realtor behavior and the way that like
oh, the process in real estate,
appraisals are
oh, crazy,
going?
crazy. We've had so many shifts. Most of them are positive. Most of them are positive. Like for us to go into a multiple offer situation when there's 30 people and we all go out and sit outside the house waiting in our cars, and then you go in and you present.
Is that
You
happening
come back
again?
outside the house, and then you go back inside and you present, and then you go back inside you keep doing that back and forth 3 times, and then you're there for like 4 hours.
That's still happening?
No, but before that's what it was like.
Oh,
And then the agent calls you afterwards at about 11 o'clock at night. It's like, TK, yeah, we really appreciate your offer.
oh,
We
and you're
think,
like,
you know what, you actually
oh,
had, you were really close. It was a great number, this and that, and da 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 da.
is there anything I can do to
Unfortunately, the sellers accepted the other offer, and
oh,
have a
fuck
safe
you,
drive home tonight in the blizzard,
you fucking asshole.
right? And these
Yeah,
are the things that used to happen. So now it's
now
freed
what
up time.
happens?
DocuSign. Now it's all done in the same way, but just digitally, so you're not sitting in the car.
Do you all
You're
wait in like
waiting
a
around.
Zoom waiting room for your turn to speak or
No,
something like that?
you just wait in your basement in the corner, biting your fingernails,
Biting
saying,
your
"Oh my
fingernails
God,
in.
I'm about to sell a house.
I need
I
this
better
fucking
prepare for
sale,
this. I need
TK. I
this
need
money
this
really bad. My
fucking
interest
money right
payments are through
now.
the
This
roof. It's
penny.
crazy." But the other thing is showing procedures. Broker Bay is a game changer. DocuSign's a game changer.
DocuSign was pandemic induced that you guys weren't
Not
using that
pandemic induced.
before?
I was using it a
No.
long time, but
Yeah.
the main thing is the other agents had no clue. And so they're like, look, I got to go and see my client tonight
Right.
and I'll get the signature. Now, even a 70-year-old agent is saying, yeah, I DocuSigned it. I
DocuSign.
got it
Yeah.
back. I'm like, okay, awesome. We got a deal.
So there's that, And so what else has changed? So that's about it, right?
No, there's
Open
lots of little
houses. We're
things.
still doing open houses, or is that
I
by
don't know why, but people are
appointment?
still doing open houses.
Open
But
houses are back.
so appointment time, like overlapping, things like that. People are a little bit more respectful. Overall, the buyers really changed tune. It used to be like, this is the truth. The buyers used to walk into people's houses. Actually, you know what? This is coming back. Buyers used to walk into houses and just disrespect the sellers' houses as if they owed them money. Like they would walk in, they'd like leave their shoes on, they would leave lights on, mess up the place and walk out like they owned it. Like really bad. Like that used to happen a lot when we had a lot of traffic on showings. During the pandemic, it was so respectful. Everyone's like putting on the little booty covers and gloves and like asking permission to turn on a light. So recently I found that there's
Can I
back
touch
to
the switch? Is that against the rules? Oh,
right. And so
man.
people now are being a little bit more free, willing. So you have to just be careful, prepare the sellers for that, make sure that they understand that our job is to drive traffic to the property and make sure that as many people see it so that they get the most amount of money. And I can't control every person while they're in the property.
It was nice actually during the pandemic when we would look at houses. Like I get it from the sales perspective that like the more people around and like the bigger the buzz, like the better it is for the sale price. But there was something nice about walking around and having time and getting to talk out loud, without tipping your hand and, actually looking around without like somebody else being in the fucking room you want to go into.
Yeah.
Like as far as an actual experience for the buyer, it'd be nice to keep that. But I mean,
We're back to overlapping showings.
We're back for sure. I mean, that's a sales strategy, right?
No, it's not. It's just
of course it is.
It's not
bullshit.
It's not a sales strategy.
Bullshit, man. Listen, when we were in the furniture business, we used to have like you still got
the sale going on right now?
Yeah, sales still going on. Shelter Furniture on Caledonia. Check it out. Going out of business. Big sales. Go check it out. Thanks, TK. But when different furniture business, but what was I even saying? What the hell were we talking about?
Buyers being in this house at the same time, making competition.
When we had so many people in the furniture store buying stuff in the middle of the showroom around the desk, even if it was 5 people, it seemed like everybody was buying, and it would make people feel like there was a frenzy going on. It would make people want what we had going on in there. And I promise you, from a psychology perspective, a lineup out the door, okay, and bumping into everybody and squeezing past everybody in the bathroom to see a house has an effect on the psychology of the buyer.
I agree.
Right. So the reason why that won't come back, where you have a nice little showing by yourself and you got a half an hour and everybody's respectful and blah, 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 is because it's beneficial to the sale price. It is. It's a tactic.
I've never made the decision to allow double bookings because I feel like people will walk around the house bumping into each other.
Make sure you only book people
maybe
from
I don't know what
11
I'm
to 12.
doing, but you try to get more offers. That's going to help. But as far as, it's just a scheduling thing. If it's a vacant house and you can allow people to get in, you're getting lots of showings, allow double bookings. You want more people to get in there. So,
well, TK, it's time to bring our guest on. We've made them wait long enough. It's been a wonderful episode. I think TK.
Yeah.
That was a quite enjoyable conversation. And
it was, yeah.
We hit everything on my list.
A little short today because I got an appointment.
I got a couple of things going on that we can save for another day. Hopefully by the time we talk about them, they will be positive.
I'm trying to get
instead
a
of
mayor
negative
candidate on the show.
I put out there in Twitterland that Justice Queen should run for mayor.
Well, I'm trying to get someone who's already, signed up.
Why? Okay, let's do it.
I want to hear what they have to say.
Do you have a guy? Do you? You have a guy?
I don't have a guy. I've asked.
You know a guy who
I don't know
maybe has a guy? No one.
But it'd be nice to get someone on the show who wants to talk real estate and what Toronto needs to have.
That'd be cool. I wonder if anybody out there has a connection that could make that happen or help us do that.
If you got a connection with someone running for mayor who wants to be on the show,
and you're listening at the moment,
and you're still listening at the moment,
which is weird.
But if you are and you haven't subscribed, now's a good chance to do that. We appreciate you. Drop a comment. I'll make sure I reply.
Yeah, I have not been very good at replying lately.
He's busy. He's got lots of stuff.
Sometimes I have to work. Yeah, sometimes.
And I will, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, TK. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So now, TK, let's do something that I can edit into the beginning for please sub and all the things that we're pushing.
What do you mean? I did it already. I did a great job.
Do you want to use that one?
Yeah, why not?
All right, we can use that one. It's great. I like that a lot.
So we need to promote me. I need to come up with a
you were gonna
website or something.